Hey everyone, I'm Chris and welcome to the Deep Dive.
Hi, I'm Isabella.
And today we're diving into a classic, The Richest Man in Babylon.
Oh yeah, this one's a good one.
So this book is offering financial advice through these parables set in ancient Babylon.
Right.
But, my knowledge of Babylon is a little hazy.
Yeah.
What made this city so special in terms of wealth and finance?
Well, you might be surprised to learn that Babylon was located in what is now a pretty arid valley in Iraq.
Oh,
Not a lot going on there now.
not really known for its lush forests or anything?
No lush forests, no convenient mines.
So not an obvious place for, like, a financial powerhouse.
Right. They actually engineered their prosperity.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. How do they do that?
They created this incredible irrigation system.
Right.
A whole network of dams and canals that channeled water from the Euphrates River.
Wow.
And this transformed their dry land into this thriving agricultural hub.
Oh.
It was a truly remarkable feat of engineering for that time.
So they built their wealth quite literally from the ground up.
It's exactly.
And they're also known for being, financially savvy, right? I mean, the book is called The Richest Man in Babylon,
Yeah,
not The Richest City.
exactly. Babylon was famous for its wise rulers and its financial innovations. Think about it. This is where we see the invention of money as we know it, promissory notes, and even property titles.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah,
Really puts things into perspective. So while Babylon might be a deserted ruin today,
right.
its financial legacy continues to resonate.
It does.
But let's get to the heart of the book here.
Yeah.
Arkad, the richest man in Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
Who was he, and how did he amass such wealth?
Well, Arkad's story is a classic rags to riches tale.
Okay.
He wasn't born into wealth. He started as a humble scribe. And through hard work and smart financial decisions, he built his fortune over time.
So he's kind of like the original self-made millionaire.
Yeah, you could say that.
What were some of the key principles that guided him on his path to wealth?
Well, he outlined 7 cures for a lean purse. Yes, these are essentially 7 principles for achieving financial success.
Okay.
And he shares these with his friends who, like him, were hardworking, but struggling financially.
Makes sense. I'm ready to take notes. Cure number 1.
The first cure is start thy purse to fattening, which means saving at least 10% of your earnings.
Okay.
This principle of paying yourself first,
Right.
as relevant today as it was back then.
I can imagine it's easier said than done, though, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when you're just starting out
Yeah.
or facing, financial challenges.
That's where the second cure comes in, control thy expenditures.
Control the expenditures.
Yes, this is all about creating a budget and being mindful of your spending.
So budgeting is essential, even in ancient Babylon.
It really is.
What kind of advice did Arkad give about creating a budget?
He emphasizes the importance of tracking your expenses and differentiating between wants and needs.
Okay.
The key is to make conscious choices about where your money goes. He actually tells a story about a man who thought his purse had a hole in it because his money seemed to disappear.
Oh, really?
But the problem wasn't the purse, it was the man's spending habits.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
It's so easy to let our spending get out of control
Yeah.
without even realizing it.
It is?
But saving and budgeting are just the first steps, right?
Right.
What about growing that wealth?
That's cure number 3. Make thy gold multiply.
Okay.
Arkad believed in putting your savings to work, investing them wisely so they generate even more wealth.
Now, Babylon didn't have a stock market or mutual funds.
Right.
What did Arkad consider a good investment?
He talks about lending money for interest and investing in businesses.
Okay.
One example is a loan he made to a shield maker.
Shield maker.
Yeah, the shield maker used the funds to expand his business and then repaid Arkad with interest.
So the idea is to invest in ventures that have the potential to grow
Yes,
and generate income.
exactly.
But investing even in shield making carries risks.
It does.
What if your investment goes sour?
That's where the 4th cure comes in. Guard thy treasures from loss.
Guard thy treasures from loss.
This is all about protecting your investments.
Oh.
He actually learned this lesson the hard way.
Oh,
He invested in what he thought were rare jewels, only to find out they were fake, wiping out his savings.
Ouch. That's a costly mistake.
Yeah.
So how do you guard against those kinds of losses?
He stresses the importance of seeking advice from experienced professionals.
Okay.
Before making big financial decisions, it's about doing your due diligence and not letting emotions cloud your judgment.
So don't jump into investments blindly.
No.
Do your research, seek expert advice, and protect your hard-earned savings.
Exactly.
Makes sense. So we've got saving, budgeting, investing, and protecting our investments.
Right.
What's the next step on Arkad's financial prescription?
Cure number 5, make of thy dwelling a profitable investment.
Make of thy dwelling a profitable investment.
Yes, Arkad believed that owning your home is a foundational step toward financial stability.
That's interesting. Today, we often hear the opposite,
Yeah.
that renting might be more flexible, especially for younger generations.
Yeah, times have changed. Renting certainly has its advantages,
Mm-hmm.
but the underlying principle still holds true. It's about investing in assets that appreciate in value and provide long-term security, whether it's owning your home or investing in other tangible assets.
Right.
The key is to build a solid foundation for your financial future.
So it's about having a place to call your own,
Yes.
whether that's literally a home or a solid investment portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
But building wealth is a long game, right?
It is.
What about planning for the future?
That's cure number 6. Ensure a future income.
Ensure a future income.
Arkad stresses the importance of planning for the future, particularly for retirement.
Okay.
He believed that everyone should strive to create a comfortable life,
Yeah.
even after they stop working.
So even in ancient Babylon, they understood the importance of retirement planning.
They did. It seems like they were pretty forward-thinking.
That's pretty impressive. But there's one more cure, right?
Yes. The 7th and final cure, increase thy ability to earn.
Increase thy ability to earn.
Arkad believed in continuous learning and self-improvement to boost your earning potential throughout your life.
Never stop learning. That's something I can definitely get behind.
Yeah.
So these 7 cures provide a roadmap to financial well-being, even thousands of years later. It's amazing how relevant they still are.
Absolutely. And, these 7 cures are actually echoed in another set of wisdom from the book, The 5 Laws of Gold.
Intriguing. What are these 5 laws of gold all about?
Imagine a wise character named Calabab traveling with his apprentice and sharing his financial wisdom along the way.
Okay, so picture a caravan winding its way across the desert
Yeah.
with Calabab dispensing financial advice. I'm all ears.
The first law reinforces the importance of saving. Gold cometh gladly and increasing quantity to any man who will put by not less than 1/10 of his earnings to create an estate for his future and that of his family.
So law number 1 echoes the first cure, save consistently. What's the second law?
Gold laboreth diligently and contentedly for the wise owner who finds for it profitable employment, multiplying even as the flocks of the field.
Okay, so just like the third cure, this emphasizes the importance of wise investment to
Right.
grow your wealth.
Exactly. The third law reinforces the importance of seeking expert advice. Gold clingeth to the protection of the cautious owner who invests it under the advice of men wise in its handling.
Okay, so don't put all your eggs in one basket.
No.
Or trust just anyone with your hard-earned gold. Seek guidance from those who know what they're doing. Makes sense.
What about law number 4?
Gold slippeth away from the man who invests it in businesses or purposes with which he's not familiar or which are not approved by those skilled in its keep.
Okay, that's a good reminder to stick to what you know, or at least seek guidance from those who don't get lured into investments that seem too good to be true,
Right.
or that you don't fully understand. Okay, bring on the final law. The 5th and final law warns against risky schemes and get-rich-quick promises. Gold flees the man who would force it to impossible earnings, or who followeth the alluring advice of tricksters and schemers, or who trusts it to his own inexperience and romantic desires in investment.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
It is.
But it's a cautionary tale against greed and impulsive decisions.
Right.
Slow and steady wins the race, especially when it comes to building wealth.
Absolutely. These 5 laws, along with the 7 cures, really lay the groundwork for financial success,
Yeah.
both then and now.
Absolutely. But the book isn't just about Arkad and his wisdom.
It's not.
There are other characters and stories
Yes,
that illustrate these financial principles in action.
there are.
One that comes to mind is the story of Rodin,
Yes.
a spearmaker who receives a gift of 50 pieces of gold.
Oh, yeah.
What happens to Rodin and his newfound wealth?
Well, he's immediately faced with a dilemma. His sister wants him to lend the money to her husband, Ahriman, to start a business.
Ooh, family loans.
I know, right?
Always a tricky situation. What does Rodin do?
He's torn between wanting to help his family and protecting his gold.
Yeah, I can see that.
So he wisely seeks advice from Methon, a wise gold lender.
I'm sensing a valuable lesson here.
Yeah.
What does Methon advise?
Well, Methon cautions Rodin against lending money unwisely,
Okay.
especially to someone with no experience or a solid plan.
So he's like, you need to think about this carefully.
Exactly. He then takes Rodin to his token chest,
His token
a
chest.
chest filled with tokens representing loans he's made.
Interesting.
Each token tells a story, some good, some bad.
It's like a financial history lesson contained in a chest.
Exactly. He shows Rodin how easy it is to lose money if it's not lent carefully.
Right.
And how good intentions can sometimes lead to unintended consequences.
So what does Rodin decide to do? Does he lend the gold to his brother-in-law?
That's a question we'll have to explore in part 2 of our deep dive.
Oh, come on. You leave us hanging like that. All right, well, join us next time as we continue our journey through The Richest Man in Babylon
It'll be worth it.
and uncover the lessons learned by Rodin and other fascinating characters.
Absolutely.
See you next time.
Bye.
Welcome back to our deep dive into The Richest Man in Babylon.
Yes.
Last time we left off with Rodin facing a tough decision
Yeah.
about whether to lend his 50 pieces of gold to his brother-in-law, Araman.
Right.
Did Methon convince him to hold on to his gold?
Well, Methon definitely gave Rodin a lot to think about.
Okay.
He asked Rodin what he desired most from his gold.
Mhm.
And Rodin, being practical, replied, to keep it safe.
That sounds like a smart answer. And after all, safety should be a top priority when it comes to your, hard-earned money.
Exactly. Methon then pointed out that Araman, with no business experience, wouldn't be able to guarantee the safety of the gold.
Right. So he's appealing to Rodin's common sense and desire to protect his treasure.
Yeah,
But Rodin probably also wanted to see his money grow.
you're right. Methon then asked Rodin what else he desired from his gold, and Rodin wisely replied that it earns more gold.
He's thinking like an investor wanting his money to work for him.
Yes, and Methon used this to his advantage.
Okay.
He reminded Rodin that lending unwisely risks not only the principal, but also any potential earnings.
Right.
Then he asked Rodin to consider how his sister would feel if she knew he was jeopardizing 50 years' worth of savings on her husband's risky venture.
Wow, that's a powerful way to frame it.
Yeah.
He's appealing to Rodin's sense of responsibility, not just to himself, but to his family as well.
Right. Methon's approach is very clever.
Yeah.
He then suggests that Rodin offer Araman a year's worth of savings, 5 pieces of gold.
Okay.
But only if Araman can present a solid business plan that Methon approves.
Ooh, so he's setting some conditions.
He is this way. Rodin mitigates his risk, and Araman gets a chance to prove himself.
That's a much more sensible and balanced approach. So does Araman step up and create that business plan?
Actually, the book doesn't tell us. The story shifts focus to other characters and their financial journeys.
It's interesting. It's almost as if the author is inviting us to consider
Yeah.
what we would do in Rodin's situation.
I think you're right. The Richest Man in Babylon isn't just a step-by-step guide to wealth building.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about sparking reflection
Right.
and encouraging us to apply these principles to our own lives.
Speaking of applying principles, the story of Dabasir the camel trader really got me thinking.
Oh, yeah. Dabasir's story is a powerful one.
He starts as a slave in Syria, burdened by debt and utterly hopeless. It's a pretty bleak situation.
It is. He's lost his self-respect and feels like a complete failure.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
But then he meets a strong-willed woman named Sira, and everything changes.
Sira, tell me more about her.
She's a camel trader,
Okay.
and she hires Dabasir to tend to her camels. She sees potential in him, a spark that even he doesn't recognize.
So she gives him an opportunity, a chance to prove himself.
Exactly. And Dabasir, desperate to break free from his chains, both literal and metaphorical, seizes this opportunity. He works hard and earns Sira's trust.
Okay.
Later, when Sira needs to send a message to her sick mother, she entrusts Dabasir with 2 camels and supplies to make the journey.
Okay. I'm intrigued. This is where things get interesting. Does he deliver the message as promised?
He sets off on his mission, but there's a twist.
The twist.
He decides to use this opportunity to escape his slavery and return to Babylon.
Wow, that's a bold move. He's risking a lot.
He's driven by this deep desire to reclaim his life and his honor.
Yeah.
But as you can imagine, his escape plan doesn't go smoothly.
Ah,
He gets lost in the desert, loses the camels, and is on the verge of death.
it sounds terrifying. How does he survive such a desperate situation?
As he's lying there defeated and weak, he has this incredible epiphany.
Okay.
He realizes that running away from his problems was foolish.
Yeah.
He decides he would rather die trying to make things right than give up and succumb to despair.
So he chooses to fight for his life even when all hope seems lost. That's a powerful realization.
It is, and that's what's so inspiring about his story. He finds inner strength fueled by his determination to pay back his debts and reclaim his life.
Does he make it back to Babylon?
He does, through resourcefulness and sheer willpower. He finds his way back and makes a vow to repay every debt he owes.
That's a serious commitment. It shows a real shift in his character.
It does.
What does he do to rebuild his life?
He starts by working for a camel trader in Babylon using the skills he learned in Syria.
Okay.
He lives frugally, saves diligently, and slowly but surely starts repaying his debts.
He's putting those 7 cures for a lean purse into action: hard work, saving, and living within his means.
Exactly, and his story doesn't end there.
Oh, there's more.
His reputation for honesty and hard work grows, and he eventually becomes a successful camel trader himself.
It's a true comeback story, from slave to successful entrepreneur, proof that no matter how dire your circumstances, you can turn things around with the right mindset.
Debussy's journey reminds us that even when we feel defeated, we have the power to choose our path and fight for a better future.
What I find interesting is how his story connects to the idea of mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
Sira, the camel trader, played a key role in his transformation, even though she wasn't intentionally trying to mentor him.
That's a great point. Sometimes mentors appear in the most unexpected forms.
Yeah.
Speaking of mentors, the story of Sharu Nada, the merchant prince, and his young companion Hadan Gula also explores this theme.
Sharunada, he's a fascinating character.
Yeah.
A wealthy merchant who seems to have it all.
Mm.
But last time you mentioned he carries a secret burden. What is it that weighs so heavily on him?
Well, he's tasked with bringing Hadan Gula, the grandson of his former business partner from Damascus, to Babylon.
Okay.
Hadan Gula is struggling financially and is desperate to learn the secret to Sharu Nada's success.
Sounds like a classic mentor-mentee relationship in the making.
It does, but their journey is about much more than just business.
Real?
It becomes a journey of self-discovery for both of them.
Okay, I'm hooked. What happens along the way?
Well, their conversations delve into the nature of wealth, the value of hard work, and the importance of honoring your commitments.
Sounds like they're getting into some pretty deep topics.
They are.
What does Sharunada reveal about his own path to wealth?
He tells Hadan Gula that he wasn't always a wealthy merchant. In fact, he started his life in Babylon as a slave.
Whoa, another slave to success story. This book is full of them. What led him to such a difficult beginning?
It was a combination of bad luck and poor choices. His brother got into a brawl, killed someone, and Sharunada was sold into slavery to pay off his brother's debt.
That's a rough start. How did he escape slavery and build his fortune?
His turning point came when he was assigned to work on the construction of the Grand Walls of Babylon.
Wow.
The work was grueling, and he was surrounded by other slaves who had lost all hope.
I can imagine how easy it would be to give up hope in those circumstances.
It would, but Sharunada refused to succumb to despair. He was determined to find a way out of his predicament.
So what did he do?
That's where his friendship with a fellow slave named Megiddo comes in.
Megiddo, we talked about him earlier. He's the one who believed that work was his best friend, right?
Exactly. He had this incredible belief in the power of hard work and a positive attitude, and his philosophy really impacted Sharunada.
So even in the midst of back-breaking labor, Sharunada starts to see work as a potential path to freedom, not just a punishment.
Yes, this shift in mindset is crucial to his transformation. He starts looking for opportunities to prove himself and earn his freedom.
What kind of opportunity does he find?
He notices that his master, a baker, is struggling to keep up with the demand for his honey cakes.
Honey cakes.
Yes, Sharunada sees this as a chance to shine and offers to help with the baking.
So he takes initiative, learns a new skill, and makes himself valuable smart.
He doesn't stop there. He proposes to his master that he be allowed to sell the extra honey cakes on the streets of Babylon in the afternoons, splitting the profits with his master.
He's not just working hard, he's thinking like an entrepreneur.
You're getting it. And his hard work pays off. He becomes a successful honey cake salesman and earns enough money to buy back his freedom.
He literally baked his way to freedom. That's amazing.
It really is. That experience laid the foundation for his future success as a merchant. He learned the value of hard work, the importance of seizing opportunities, and the power of creating value for others.
Those are valuable lessons, and it reminds me of what we talked about with the buzz here. Even when faced with adversity, we have the power to choose our response and shape our own destiny.
Right.
But Sharunada's story doesn't end there, right? He goes on to achieve even greater success.
You're right. He becomes a successful merchant and forms a partnership with Arkad Hadan Gula's grandfather.
Okay.
And this partnership turns out to be incredibly profitable.
So Hadan Gula's grandfather also started from humble beginnings.
He did, and Sharunada reveals that Arkad Gula had also been a slave in Babylon.
Another slave turned successful merchant. This is incredible.
Hmm.
How did Aragula manage to escape slavery?
It was a combination of luck timing and the power of belief. He was working as a slave in a rug merchant's house, and one day he overheard Sharunata talking about his ambition to become a merchant once he was free.
So even as a slave, Sharunata was already thinking like a successful businessman.
Exactly, and Arad Gula, inspired by Sharunata's vision, decided to take a leap of faith.
What did he do?
He proposed a partnership, offering his skills as a rug maker and salesman to complement Sharunata's knowledge of trade.
That's so bold. Did Sharunata accept his offer?
Of course, he recognized Arad Gula's drive and talent, and he saw the potential for a successful partnership.
And that's how their incredible journey began.
Yes. They combined their resources, worked tirelessly, and built a thriving business together. It's another testament to the power of collaboration and a shared vision.
These stories are so inspiring. Sharunata and Ardgula, both starting from such difficult circumstances, managed to create such successful lives for themselves.
It really highlights the power of the human spirit and the potential for transformation no matter your starting point. But their story and Sharunata's journey with Hadangula is far from over. Join us in part 3 of our deep dive as we uncover the final lessons and wisdom shared in The Richest Man in Babylon.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We're wrapping up our exploration of the richest man in Babylon, and I'm still reeling from the stories we've uncovered so far.
It's quite a journey, isn't it? From the 7 cures for a lean purse
Yeah?
to the inspiring tales of those who rose from adversity
Right.
to achieve financial success.
Absolutely. Last time we were discussing Sharunata and Hadangula,
Right.
the wealthy merchant prince,
Mm-hmm.
and the young man eager to learn his secrets. So did Sharunata finally reveal the key to his success.
He did, but not in the way Hadan Gula expected. Remember, Hadan Gula wanted a shortcut, some secret formula for attracting gold? But Sharunata believed that true wealth is built on principles, not tricks.
He wanted to teach Hadangula how to fish, not just hand him a fish. So how did he convey these principles?
As they traveled towards Babylon, Sharunata continued to share stories from his past, focusing on the lessons he learned along the way. He wanted Hadan Gula to understand that wealth is a byproduct of hard work, perseverance, and wise decision-making.
So it's about building a solid foundation, not chasing quick riches. Did Hadangula start to grasp this concept?
At first, he was resistant. He wanted that quick fix, that magic formula.
Right.
But Sharunata continued to guide him, gently pushing him to look beyond the desire for instant gratification.
He was a patient mentor. Did anything specific trigger a change in Hadangula's thinking?
As they approached the gates of Babylon, Sharunata posed a powerful question to Hadangula. He asked him to consider what truly mattered, material possessions or the principles that lead to lasting wealth and happiness.
That's a huge question. It forces you to examine your values and priorities.
Yeah.
How did Hadangula respond?
That's when he had his aha moment. He finally realized that he'd been focusing on the wrong things.
Okay.
He'd been chasing shortcuts and superficial wealth instead of the values his grandfather, Arad Gula, embodied: hard work, determination, and integrity.
So it's like he finally understood that his grandfather's legacy wasn't just about the money he earned,
Yeah.
but about the principles he lived by.
Exactly. And that was the true treasure Sharunata wanted to pass on to Hadangula.
Right.
It's a reminder that true wealth encompasses so much more than just gold or possessions. It's about character wisdom and living a life of purpose.
That's a powerful message.
Yeah.
Brings us back to what we discussed earlier about this 7 cures and the 5 laws. These principles aren't just about financial gain. They're about building a solid foundation for a fulfilling life.
Absolutely. The Richest Man in Babylon is more than just a financial guide. It's a collection of stories that offer timeless wisdom about human nature, resilience, and the pursuit of a life well lived.
As we wrap up our deep dive into The Richest Man in Babylon, I can't help but think about the journey we've taken. We've explored ancient wisdom, encountered inspiring characters, and uncovered principles that are just as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago.
It's amazing how these stories set in a time so different from our own still resonate so deeply. It's a testament to the enduring power of these fundamental truths.
It really makes you think about your own relationship with money, your financial goals, and what truly matters in life.
It does.
So as we conclude this deep dive, we leave you with a question to ponder.
Okay.
What one principle from The Richest Man in Babylon will you embrace to build a brighter future, not just financially, but in all aspects of your life?